What would you do if the knock at your door at 3 a.m. wasn't a neighbor, wasn't a mistake, but a death sentence dressed in a utility vest? That's the question I didn't have time to answer when they came for me. My name's Caleb Holt, and I'm not your average dad with a day job. For 17 years, I was a ghost on the border, neutralizing threats in places you'll never hear about. I've taken out targets in 5 countries before the sun came up. So when 2 men showed up at my house, fake badges gleaming, a brick of C4 tucked under their lies, they didn't know they just walked into the wrong man's war. It was 3:02 a.m. when I heard it. Not a loud noise, not a clumsy one. A click, precise, like a key testing a lock it wasn't meant for. I don't sleep like normal people. I don't toss or turn. I'm still, then I'm awake, every creak in the house a language I've learned to read. My hand slid under the bed, fingers curling around the cold steel of a Remington 870. No boots, no noise, just bare feet and muscle memory carrying me past the coat rack, past the faded photos of my old unit, medals I never wanted. The floor groaned once under my weight. I froze, breath held, not from fear but focus. Outside, gravel crunched. Slow steps, then a knock. 3 hard raps, each one dripping with authority. Westfield Gas and Utility. A voice called, steady, practiced. We've got a gas leak alert at this address. Mandatory inspection. I didn't answer. I didn't move. I studied the rhythm of their steps. One paced, the other stood firm. The porch cam showed 2 men in reflective vests, clipboards in hand, tool belts jangling. But one held something long, tube-shaped, not a wrench or a meter reader. I'd seen it before, in riots halfway across the world. Non-lethal, high pressure, close range. They weren't here to fix a leak. They were here to bury me. Sir, please comply for your safety. The voice pressed sharper now. This is a gas hazard zone. Hazard zone? This was a kill box. If they thought I was some old guy clutching a coffee mug and a pension, they were about to learn I wasn't retired. I was dormant. I slid to the sidewall, shotgun low, breath steady. Footsteps circled the house, testing. One lingered out of sight, probably watching for a light, a twitch, a mistake. But I've lived in this house like it's a fortress. I know every angle, every weak spot in the floorboards. I move slow, predatory, past the shelf where my daughter, Mia, keeps her clay figurines, past the rug she used to nap on, the kitchen where I botched waffles last weekend. Normal life, but tonight, it was a mask, and it was cracking. Gravel shifted outside. They were coordinating. I stopped at Mia's door, closed, locked. She was asleep, oblivious to the wolves sniffing at our walls. I pressed my palm to the wood. Stay down, kiddo, I whispered. Don't move. I slid open a hallway panel. Behind it, a steel case waited. I punched in the code, quick and quiet. The Remington got backup, a flare pen, a radio, my dad's old Bowie knife, still sharp as sin. I pocketed the blade, voice low as the barrel. You want a fight? Bleed for it. I crept to the front entry, lights off, triggers cold. The motion sensor clicked outside. They were back at the porch, and this time, they didn't knock. The lock rattled. I crouched by the window, out of their sight. 2 silhouettes, armed with lies and intent. One raised that tube again, nozzle gleaming. Not a sensor-suppressed air burst launcher, modified to drop a man quietly. They weren't amateurs. Last warning. One called, voice smooth as a snake. Mandatory override. Breaching in 10 seconds? That's what they thought they needed. I sank into the blind spot by the kitchen arch, barrel low, finger ready. He's not biting, one muttered. Check the rear. They were flanking. I pivoted, silent, cutting through the dining room, each step cold as a chess move. The rear lock held, but not for long. I heard the snap of gloves, a tap on glass. Breacher in place, a voice whispered. Breacher. Not a utility term. A tactical one. I crouched by the sliding door, watching boots align outside. On 3, one said. 1, 2. My heart didn't race. It sharpened. 3. The lock shattered. A rod punched through the deadbolt, followed by a boot. The door didn't swing, it exploded inward, military precision. The first man stepped in, black vest, clean shave, eyes sweeping like he owned the place. He expected a soft target. He got me. Don't move, I growled, stepping from the shadows, barrel locked on his chest. He froze for a split second, then reached. Mistake. I pulled the trigger. The blast tore through the silence, my shoulder eating the recoil. His body slammed back, crashing into the foyer table, wood splintering like bones. He was down, not out. I pivoted to the porch. The second man flinched and bolted before I could aim. Coward! I muttered, pumping a new shell. My ears rang, but my senses stayed razor sharp. I swept the room, corners, back door. No return fire, no backup. The gas inspection lie was dead. This was war. I knelt by the man I dropped, keeping distance. Blood pooled from his side, his vest marked Westfield Gas. His belt told a different story: zip ties, duct tape, a stun baton, a hollowed-out flashlight shell. No technician. I grabbed his clipboard. Fake forms, my name at the top. This wasn't a robbery. It was an execution. Who sent you? I hissed. He groaned, coughing blood. Nothing. A noise behind me, Mia, barefoot, pale, peeking from the hallway. Dad, what? Back in your room. I barked. Lock it. Now. She vanished. Outside, I heard stumbling. The second man's retreat was sloppy. I stepped to the doorframe, scanning the woods, the gravel path, the moonlit yard. He was gone, but this wasn't over. I called it in, voice flat like a field report. This is Caleb Holt, off County 12. Armed intruder down. Second fled east. Send cops and medics. Fast. Dispatch asked questions. I hung up. I dragged the man to the tiled entry, his vest heavy with gear. I stripped it, forged papers, lockpicks, no gun. He came to silence, not steel. Mia knocked softly, trembling. Is he dead? No, I said. What did they want? Not the gas line. I waved her back. She retreated, eyes wide. Better scared than dead. 10 minutes later, a patrol rolled in, lights off, quiet. A deputy stepped out, hand on holster, taking in the scene. Another flanked wide. They saw the man, saw me, barrel down but steady. Weapon on the floor, one said. I complied. You Caleb Holt? Yeah. My house. That's the guy who broke in. They nodded, secured the scene. Then I heard it. We found their truck. I followed them out, boots crunching gravel. A plain white van, fake gas company logo, stolen plates from Arizona. They popped the hatch. Inside, a black duffel, fake IDs, gloves, duct tape, burner phones, and a brick of C4, wired and timed. The air went thin. They weren't robbing you, a deputy muttered. They were gonna level this place. No, I said, staring at the explosive. They were erasing me. Hands behind your head, another barked. I didn't argue. Cuffs bit my wrists, my shoulders tensing. Not under arrest, the deputy said, avoiding my eyes. Just detained for safety. Safety. My shattered door, blood on my rug, Mia in the window, hands on glass, mouth moving. I looked away. They walked me past the C4, glowing under floodlights. I wanted to scream, but screaming's for the weak. Precision works. You saw the gear, I told the senior officer. That was a kill-op. Someone paid for this. Silence. They sat me on a cruiser's tailgate, arms locked like I was the threat. A medic checked the suspect. Radios crackled. I watched, calculated. Mia vanished from the window. Good. She didn't need to see this. A young officer approached, frowning. Plates were stolen 4 days ago, Tucson. We're checking the VIN. Cross-reference the phones and IDs, I said. Look for border cases, forged credentials, last 6 months. He paused, eyeing me. Ex-military? I'm what they tried to kill. He didn't reply, but I saw the shift. Truth was catching up. The cuffs came off 30 minutes later. No apology, just a nod and a form. Primary VY Tim, they called me. Victim? I held death at bay and won. Across the lawn, cops swarmed. The wounded man was cuffed, sedated. The second was caught 2 blocks away, hiding under a dumpster, zip-tied, bloody, reeking of fear. I watched them drag him back. You'll talk, I said quietly. When the memory of tonight rots you. He stared at the dirt. A detective flipped through the forms. Fake HOA violations. Real addresses, dozens. Some marked cleared. 2 had fires, gas leaks. My spine went cold. This is a network, I said. They screwed up hitting me. He nodded. They did. Dawn broke as I stepped outside. Mia sat on the porch, knees tucked. Are they gone? For now, I said. But danger like that? It waits. She nodded, silent. I sat beside her, and for the first time, I breathed. But I didn't relax. This wasn't the end. It was exposure. A week later, the house was quiet, but not safe. The new door was steel, 6-point lock, no key override. The blood was scrubbed, the carpet replaced, but the echo lingered in me. Mia went back to school, kissed my cheek, said, "See you." But she paused at the door, eyes saying she didn't want to leave me unguarded. I stood there long after her bus left. The house used to feel warm, alive. Now it listens like me. I drink coffee by the window, not for the VYEW but for the Engels tree line, road curve. At night, I check locks, walk the perimeter with a flashlight. Not paranoia. Math. Mia couldn't sleep last night. She stood in the hallway, hoodie swallowing her. I still hear it, she whispered. The shot? No. The pause before. I nodded. That's what changes you. We sat on the porch, blankets around us, stars burning cold. Will it ever feel normal? She asked. No, I said. Normal's not the goal. Prepared is. They sentenced the men Friday. 20 years, no parole. One confessed, the other didn't. The network fell, feds swept in, arrests, data seized. But peace didn't come, just clarity. The world's full of wolves in fake uniforms, voices that twist truth. You don't choose when they come. You choose to stand ready. This morning, I read Mia's note on the fridge. I'm not scared of you, Dad. I'm proud. You saved us. I tucked it in my wallet, not for comfort, but because it's why I fought. I sit at the window, coffee cold, sun rising. No birds, just the hum of my new security system. But I hear the pause before the knock, the moment that changed me. This house won't forget. Neither will I. I'm not the man I was before that door broke. I'm the man who answered it. Safety isn't what you see, it's what you sense. EVYL doesn't knock politely. It lies, it wears vests, it carries clipboards. I survived not because I had a gun, but because I trusted my gut. Fortify your home. Sharpen your instincts. When danger comes, you won't have time to think. Only to act. Would you?